Welcome back to Faroe Field 9-6, the final. Missouri hangs on as they beat UConn. Mike Reeves joining me. Did UConn kind of gift wrap this game here? It's going for the fake, or is that just, hey, if we came here, let's go all the way and try to win this thing?
That's what it was. I mean, I was going to be stunned if they kicked that field goal at the end. You've got a chance. And that doesn't have to be the touchdown at the end. Of course, that's what that play was designed for. They could have picked up the first down. There was still time left. I was sitting here watching the play and thought, if they kick that, it'll be one of the more stunning developments of the season here on this field. A couple of reasons. Number one, you got a chance. You're at the, home of an SEC team. You got a chance to shock people by winning the game. Secondly, they'd already missed a field goal of about 48, 49 yards. It was well short. This was going to be 42. I expected the fake. I think Missouri expected it too. They read it very well, and Anthony Sherrill's made a big play to seal the deal. But I wouldn't say they gift wrapped it. What I would say is they did the obvious, and by doing the obvious, it made it very easy to defend. That was my opinion.
Yeah, well, they were gutsy. They had a fake punt. I mean, they did a lot of different things. Gary Pinkel even kind of laughed about it after the game, and I think they were aware that it could happen and were ready for it. So certainly it wasn't a shock. But, hey, you give UConn credit. They came in here and certainly had a chance to pull this game out in the end. And against an SEC team, regardless of who it is or how they're struggling, that still would have been a big game for them. So I was very impressed with the way that they played. But as you look at the Missouri Tigers, obviously defense, not an issue. This team is going to have to be carried again through SEC play with their defense. I talked to Tyler Hunt, the running back, had a big 51-yard reception. Only 2 plays this season that have gone over 50 yards. Tyler Hunt has been responsible for both of those, the 78-yard touchdown pass from Drew Lock in the first game against SEMO, and now this, a 51-yarder. He said the running backs have to step up, and they've got to start making the plays. Do you agree with that, or is there something else with this offense that needs to be fixed?
They got a lot of things that look to me like they need to be fixed. The running backs are part of it. But the other part that you get into, are the guys up front getting enough? Are they opening up enough holes to run through? You get all of that you got to start piecing together. Offense requires a lot of moving parts in sync. And right now there's just not a lot in sync offensively. And I'd love to sit here and credit all of the team's defenses and say, SEMO and Arkansas State and UConn. I can't do that right now. Missouri's got troubles on the offensive side of the ball. Russell Hansbrough being out hurts because he's that guy who can get the little seam and go big. And they don't have that right now. And we talked about it a little bit at the half of this game. Mock's still not throwing the ball as well as we want to see. And I said, well, let's see what happens if he can get a receiver to open. He missed a couple of balls today that could have been there. But is it going to be as easy as the quarterback needs to be changed? I mean, you're going to have a lot of people say that. You heard Mock get booed today. It was pretty obvious. It was talked about in the postgame. With all that being said, there's a lot of things that need to be changed on the offense or at least improved. I still go back to last year on almost this very same date when they lost to Indiana and everybody was ready to, the season was done. Look at them. They're lost offensively. You're doing almost nothing right. And then, 6-7 weeks later, they had a division championship. So I'm not ready to write off the offense, but they're a long way away.
Well, and for you fans that are saying, hey, look, Drew Lock comes in, throws a nice ball, maybe he can spark the offense. There was a potential touchdown pass that he underthrew the receiver. There was another one that he kind of threw a jump ball that was basically tipped away. And then there was another one where he overshot the receiver, decided possibly throwing it out of bounds. So those were the same typical plays that Matty Mock had made too. So when I see that, while he may provide a spark here and there, I still don't think that changing Matty Mock and replacing him with Drew Lock is the answer. That's not the reason why this offense is struggling.
I like the fact, too, that Drew referred to that in the postgame. I had a chance to talk to him, and he said, listen, I made some mistakes in that second sequence. He said, I went for things that weren't there. And he said, I got, it's kind of that be the hero moment, make that. I agree with what you said. Some of the same things you've seen. There just got to be a lot of things that change, and I'd love for that to be the magic, there's your magic elixir right there. Just change the quarterback, this team's scoring 35 a game again. They didn't do it last year either, Bill. They were never an offensive juggernaut last year, and it ended up okay when it was all said and done. Is this defense as good as last year? It's hard to believe it is, given the people they lost off of last year's defense, but at least in the early going against competition that's not going to be at the highest of levels, but still, they've proven they can help you win games. And Gary Pinkel made a good point. We came in here winning 45-42 a few years ago, and you'll remember the questions were always, are you guys ever going to play any defense? Or are you just going to try to win every game 45? Now you win 9-6 and well, your offense stinks. So let's talk about that. Maybe it's a good thing for the program that they've gotten to the point that winning's not enough. Did you win the right way? Yeah. Because that seems to be where we are now. Everybody's griping today. This feels like they walked out of here and lost. I mean, you start to listen to people in the stands. You start to, go on social media. This seems like a loss. They did win the game, and they are 3-0. It doesn't have to be pretty all the time. We'll see where the season goes, but I'm not ready to dump it yet.
That's a great point. The standards are certainly rising here at Missouri. A couple of people were wondering, why did Gary Pinkel go for it 4th and 8 from the 35-yard line? Why not try to punt? He talked about that, addressed that in the postgame. He said, look, if we punt and it's a touchback, they get it at the 20, 15 yards, not that much of a difference. I think when you look at their field goal kicker, the fact that they didn't even want to try a 42-yarder at the game, Pinkel probably knows they've got a few extra yards to give on the back end, and the way the defense was playing, why not try to get it? Because if you get that first down, you seal the game and they don't touch the ball again. So given that it was at the 35, with the way your defense has been playing, I don't really question that call. Now, had this been an SEC team and you do that, probably a different call. Then you probably try to pooch it down inside the 10. But against UConn and what their kicker had, I thought it was a good call.
I'll be honest. I didn't have a problem with going for it on 4th down there. My issue was with the 2 pass plays preceding it to get it to 4th down when you were able to run the clock. Even if you run the ball twice there and then get to 4th down, you're either making UConn burn their final 2 timeouts or they're going to let the clock run inside 3 minutes, maybe down to 2.5. The 2 pass plays prior to the 4th down pass, I had more questions about those than going for it on 4th down. And honestly, the only issue I had with the 4th down and going for it at all was the deep ball down the sideline instead of maybe trying to just find a way to get the 6 yards. It kind of went like they went for broke. But all those things you said is why it happened. There was supreme confidence that the defense was not going to allow this game to get away. And it got a little dicey at the end. But in the end, exactly what Coach Pinkel thought would happen happened.
Well, there's one more non-conference game that'll be against BYU later on in the season. SEC play kicks off Saturday at Kentucky. And, of course, we'll continue our coverage at MissouriNet.com and on Twitter at Missouri Sports. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will talk to you again real soon. Mike, thanks for joining me.
Always enjoy it, Bill. Thank you.
Yep, and we'll talk to you again soon.